Good morning, everybody. So I want to bring up a safety thing. This hot shot to my right, as you can see, he has no marker lights on his trailer. Has marker lights on his truck. I caught up to him in Des Moines, tried to get his attention, passed him. He passed me about 30 minutes later, caught up to him here. I told him about that issue. He's done nothing about it. I brought it to his attention and he instead went to checking chains and tires. He has brake lights and turn signals, but no markers. If he doesn't fix it, he's going to get somebody killed. He didn't even say thank you for the fact that I stopped to talk to him. If you're pulling a trailer, if you're out driving, somebody walks up to you and points it out. He walked around the trailer with me. He could clearly see it. If somebody brings it up to you, do something about it. We all run on schedules. I understand it can be inconvenient when things happen, but things like that, not doing something could get somebody killed. When I caught up to him, I almost didn't see him. And I'd planned to turn the camera on so I could show it then. Then I found out the battery was dead. We'll see if he catches up to me. He might fix it. He might not. I hope nobody gets hurt in the process. Well, that hot shot has not passed me. The only thing I can assume is that he did the right thing and is trying to get the trailer fixed. We're going to be stopping here in a minute to get fuel. Then we're going to be back on the road, headed towards Utah. Good morning, everybody. So we are in the last leg of our trip to Utah, and it's a little windy over here in Nebraska. Right now we're holding about 28 mile an hour sustained winds with gusts up to 45. It's a bit stiff. Just saying. Going through Wyoming, though, there is a very high possibility I might wind up shutting down due to the wind. I don't know how high the winds are, but when I checked it this morning when I got started, there are weight restrictions in place, and I'm on the very edge of those restrictions. Plus, there's black ice around Wyoming. Something I need to take into consideration. Right now, this wind is kinda hitting me broadside. It's coming off of my left corner. So, it's a little bit of a handful to hang on to. Nothing I haven't done before, but still work. A big key when you're dealing with wind in a high-profile vehicle is keep an eye on your trailer, or if you're, say, driving an RV, keep an eye on the back end. It's going to be the first thing that lifts. If anything's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong back there. And I am noticing a notable thing in my trailer back there. So I'm going to play it by ear. I know what my gut says. I've said it before in some of my previous videos. Between midnight and 4 a.m. is the golden time to run. Once the sun starts coming up, the wind will pick up. Considering the wind is as strong as it is right now, at 2 o'clock in the morning, when that sun starts coming up, that might just be the clincher. I'm going to try and cover as much ground as I can in the meantime. But I'm not running light, neither am I running heavy. Got about 30,000 pounds back there. And as it sits right now, I'm on the bleeding edge of what this trailer will handle. Roll into the rest area here in Pine Bluffs. And the creative parking. As you can see, I'm very close to this truck to my right. And on my left is a concrete barrier that I have to pivot around, and I got less than 3 inches. This is ridiculous. Now, the only reason I pulled in here is so I could stop and check the wind.
Now, I'm going to freeze the video here for a second. You can see that on my right side, I am damned close to that trailer. There is no way anybody driving a long hood would have fit through here. I barely did. As it was, on my driver's side, my tandems were less than 2 inches from the concrete wall. Just going to point that out.
Now I've given my rant about creative parking, why I have an absolute distaste for it. The only time you see drivers parking like this is when they're too lazy to do their damn job. For example, there's a spot right there, but it's blocked by drivers in the back who decided to park behind everyone. So then somebody like me comes along and I've got to do things outside the norm of what the place was designed for to compensate for the lazy drivers, like this FedEx over here, parked against the curb right in the pivot zone. There's actually two spots here. I've parked at this rest area many times. It's only designed to park 7 or 8 trucks. It's a small rest area. It's always been a small rest area. But there is other parking available. The problem is the majority of drivers don't trip plan. So, between Cheyenne and Laramie, which is the part I was worried about, high wind warning once I get to Laramie. West winds 30 to 40 mile an hour with gusts up to 65 miles an hour. Yep, I'm shutting it down in Cheyenne. There's There's no way I'm driving through that. A fully loaded truck starts becoming dangerous at 40 miles an hour, roughly. Gusts as high as 65. Even a fully loaded truck will just pick up and tip. And I'm not fully loaded. I'm kind of in the mid-range. So I'm going to scoot over here to Cheyenne, stop at the Loves, because that's also my fuel stop, and shut it down. The wind is supposed to pick up within the next hour. We'll see what happens. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the battery into GoPro and switch you guys over to a time lapse. And we'll go from there. So, as I'm doing this time lapse, if you watch closely, you'll see that I'm weaving from side to side. I was compensating for the wind that was hitting me basically full broadside on the passenger side. Not too big of a deal when things are open, but when you get into a construction zone like this, it starts to become a problem. Those cones look like it's a simple thing to hit, but it's not. It'll tear up a hood, it'll take the bumper off. That's not even getting into what damage it can do to the suspension and other parts. It can tear out air lines. Don't hit those cones. You get into the barrels, those will usually have a 50-pound sandbag in them if they're not filled with sand. Don't hit those. Really, don't. Plus, there's also a ticket involved. I believe it's $250 per cone or barrel that you hit. Another key note here. I understand running a governed truck. I see it all the time where guys take their sweet time passing. When you're dealing with wind, if you can't pass quickly and effectively, don't pass. Period. If you've got wind and you just sit next to another driver, you're risking two trucks running into each other side by side. Now on the right side here, you'll see that there's a flag. You see how that's almost dead on to my right side? That's a broadside wind. And when it's running flat out like that, it's about a 35-mile-an-hour wind. Anytime you're dealing with wind, pay attention to your flags, pay attention to your wind socks. They can give you a lot of information. A lot of good information. At this point, I'm coming into Cheyenne, coming onto I-25, and here's the Loves that I was going to stop at, and I'm still here. This is March 23rd. Now, once I got in here, of course, creative parking all over the place, but there are open spots. However, as you watch this, you'll see that the creative parking actually becomes a problem trying to get into a spot. Super Ego here and this guy here are not parked in actual spots. They created their own spots that lined up with the rest of the road. And that guy left his headlights on. He's asleep. Shortly after I pulled in here, everybody and their cousin came in off the interstate. I think everybody was stopping for the wind.
One last note before I wrap this up. If you don't have a windsock or a flag nearby, pay attention to the exhaust coming off of a reefer, which is also known as a thermally controlled unit. You can see how the wind is gusting based on the exhaust. You could also look for the exhaust on a truck if they have stacks, but a reefer unit's easier to read.